Good morning. So we're sitting comfortably, I hope, or as comfortable as you can make your seated position. A few deeper breaths just to again begin to open up the lungs and the ribs and lengthen and free up that upper body space a little. So as you take those deeper breaths, a little shrugging through the shoulders, you might move the head a little, just to feel into it, just to notice that space. So of course, the tendency for us is the sympathetic nervous system is kind of the unconscious dominant patterning in our bodies. And what that creates in terms of our physical structure is a contraction. So we then get into a habit of carrying these contracted bodies around, and it just becomes normal for us. So part of the practice is very explicitly looking for freedom, moving the body in a way that begins to allow it to unlock and open up and experience how the tissue, the softer tissue in particular, can expand. Because so much of what the tissue gets used to is just staying in that kind of contracted position. So as you take those deeper breaths, things begin to expand and open up, and it's just part of a practice at beginning to unlock the body. And particularly if we're doing these seated practices in which we're still for any extended period of time, we don't want to be still in that tied up, contracted space that um, it's not very comfortable for us. So as you begin just to move, and if you notice over the course of your practice that the body has kind of slumped, and the big tendency is this front part, the sternum and the abdomen, they tend to tighten and shorten, and the shoulders will drop forward. If you notice at any point that your body has gone into that kind of contracted position, it's almost in slow motion. You kind of breathe into the tightness, and you just let the body slowly unfurl itself. In a sense, what we're doing is simply reminding the body of what it's designed to do, which is to maintain elasticity in space. So our bodies are designed to contract and expand, and that pulsation that moves through every cell in our body is designed to maintain a system, a body that feels open and at ease. But of course, all of us are working with stories and programs and patterns and habits that we're beginning to hopefully look at and respond to in a way that allows us to learn and to grow and to unfold and so forth. Okay. So we're going to close the eyes and bring the attention to the breath, just to notice the breath. So again, we're tuning into that inner experience. We're just meeting ourselves this morning, noticing, how am I doing? And then you can hear the birds also, and maybe the wind in the trees, just to tune into all of that. You can possibly hear it through the device you're using for this, but maybe you can hear it also outside of the space that you're in or around you. So, in very simple terms, one of the main components of our practice is to just be here, to be in this actual moment. And our minds so often are not here. They're distracted, they're somewhere else, ruminating over the past or projecting into the future. It's such a common thing for us to do. So much of what we're fed in our society is, what if, what if. So to simply notice what is, the sound of the birds, or whatever noises might be around you this morning. And we're allowing ourselves to become receptive. So that's the intention, is to become receptive to this moment, just to notice it. There's nothing to do except to just soften, open, listen, observe, notice. And that includes everything around you and everything within you. That in one sense, nothing is ever still. Everything is in continuous motion, in continuous process, shifting and changing all the time. And one of the things it's probably fair to say that all of us would like to experience more of is ease or comfort with that change. So quite often change is uncomfortable for us. It's just difficult for us. And what if our practice could support us in becoming less uncomfortable with change, being able to meet it in a way in which we could maybe stay receptive, stay open, stay at ease. And ultimately, our practice is moving us in that direction. Soften your face, let your jaw relax, let your eyelids be heavy, let your belly relax. And then be close to the breath. So you can also hear the birds, the wind. Have a gentle connection to your breath. So we're breathing deeper breaths. We're beginning our inhalation at the base of our spine and breathing all the way up to the crown of the head as you inhale. And then imagining the exhalation almost like a waterfall cascading down the front of your body. And it's as if we're creating a circuit with the breath. Breathing all the way up to the crown of the head as you inhale. Exhale, almost watching the breath falling down the front of the body as you exhale. Now imagine the inhalation began deeper on the base of your spine. Could you imagine it begins in the earth? Imagine you're bringing it from the earth up along your spine all the way to the crown of your head. And then exhaling it all the way over the front of the body and back down, disappearing into the earth. And if you can imagine, you're pulling it from the center of the earth all the way up and then returning it as you exhale all the way back to the center of the earth. So again, the gift of the earth is this being here-ness, this quality of being anchored. And really when we feel anchored, when we feel connected to something bigger, we feel safe. When we feel safe, we begin to open and dilate and soften. We become receptive. The parasympathetic nervous system activates, and that heals and feeds and balances us in incredible ways. So stay with this breath. You're breathing from deep in the earth, all the way up along the spine to the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, the breath falling down the front of the body and all the way back deep into the earth. Long, steady, comfortable breath. Stay with your breath. Stay with the breath. 3 more of these deeper breaths. And when you finish that longer last exhalation, let the breath come back to its natural rhythm. And wherever is the easiest place for you to connect to your breath through. So as you're breathing, where the attention is drawn to notice that breath. What's the one place? Maybe your nose or your mouth or your chest or your belly, wherever you're drawn to. Can your attention be in that space now? Keep bringing your attention back to your breath. Just gently noticing your inhalation and your exhalation. And then even after these few minutes of just sitting, working with our breath, just tune into how you're doing, how you're feeling. And again, it's not this idea that we need to be empty or perfect in any way, but the practice is to simply, one, know what's happening for us, to tune into what's there for us, up or down, left or right, doesn't matter, light or shadow, whatever might be going on for us. And then as we really tune into that and notice that, we're learning how to hold it, how to hold the full experience, all the ups and all the downs, to hold it with that quality of space or ease or equanimity. So it's this radical acceptance of ourselves, of allowing ourselves to be wherever we are in this moment, to really turn toward what it is that's moving through us, to witness it. And then as we consciously or intentionally allow it, it'll shift, it'll move. We bring our hands together in front of the heart. And as we allow whatever needs to move through us to do that, we become more accessible to ourselves. So the idea of being able to access the heart or those deeper qualities that resonate with that heart space, compassion, love, gratitude, these then become more accessible to us because we're learning not to push away or to shut down or to repress, but to simply sit with and experience. And look, some days that's devastating to meet what's in there. If it's those difficult experiences of grief, anger, frustration, control, all of those qualities that all of us to some extent carry, maybe different percentages or variations, but every human being has a shadow aspect. So our practice is very much acknowledging and seeing ourselves as we truly are, just sitting and noticing and witnessing. So we don't need to be anything other than what we are, and we're the first to really give ourselves permission for that to be the case, for that to be the truth. And then we watch what happens to that internal space as we learn how to give ourselves permission. It will unfold, it will open, it will ease. So then this idea of gratitude. When was the last time you felt gratitude? Can you remember and can you use the memory to create the feeling, to access the feeling? You breathe into that feeling and letting the ribs expand. Gratitude. Could we have gratitude for this very moment? Just this simple moment, sitting here, hearing the sound of the birds, knowing that we're doing our best. And then to ourselves and to each other and to this morning, we bow. Good work. Well done. So for those of you that are interested, there's yoga Wednesday, 10:15, which is today for many of you, and Sunday at 9:30. They're both on Instagram Live. So they begin on time, and then they're available for 24 hours after that. And the yoga, I ask for payment or donation if that's possible. So you can do that on my website. And I hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. All right.